Hey all, it's Natalie, and I am participating in my friend Sarah Scrapp's group on Facebook is doing a hop today. It's Rediscover Your Stash, and we're focusing on ribbons, trims, and branding strips. I'm using trims that you can see right there that I got at the Dollar Tree, and they're so cute. And I'm going to use these 3 photos of my 2 boys and my nephew, and I'm going to mix up the Sugar Plum Wishes collection by Paige Evans with the Fruitcake and Tinsel collection by Fancy Pants, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. So I'm just going through the papers here trying to decide what I want to do. I'm going to do a little non-traditional, use a lot of pink. That plaid on the back side of Paige's collection is so similar to the plaid in the Fruitcake and Tinsel, so that just further intensified my desire to mix and match these collections because they go together so well. I love that really distressed pink background. I'm going to use this plaid here, and I'm going to use both sides of this paper because I love them so much and I think that they really complement each other well. So I'm going to do a distressed strip across the top that is ripped, and I'm going to use this pink and red plaid side, and then I'm going to turn it over and use the green side with the florals and the pine cones. So I had to fiddle around with that just to get it just right there at the top, but I did it. I also pulled out the 6x8 paper pad from Fruitcake and Tinsel to add in a solid paper to kind of go with those. So I'm just going through that to decide which solid paper I want to use. I'm going to go with the red here. So I'm going to use the opposite side that I'm showing. Yeah, that side right there. And then I will just kind of, duplicate it across the page. You won't be able to tell where the seam is. I'm going to use this trim that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and I love the little pom-pom dots that are hanging down. So I'm going to go off screen and sew that on with my sewing machine, and I think I used turquoise thread. So I did a pretty strong stitch at the top, like a zigzag stitch, because I wanted it to be very well secured, and I liked using that kind of contrasting stitch to bring out some of the blues and greens that I'm going to use later in the page. So I think about using that, but honestly, it's a bit much. So I do end up going with the red solid there. So I just kind of rip a little strip off on either side, on the longer side, on the 8-inch side, and then kind of combine those under that green piece. I'm going to link down below with the link list for the hop lineup, if you will. It is, why did I pull that? I guess I used both strips of those actually. Anyway, I'm going to put the hop lineup down below. It's full of a bunch of talent, of course. Sarah has tons of talented friends in her group. And I just love seeing what everybody makes. I love ribbons and trim to add dimension and texture to a layout. So it's going to be really fun to hop through and see what everyone makes. I have a Christmas layout, of course, just because I hadn't really scrapped a ton of Christmas yet this year, and I had this new collection to play with, but there's going to be plenty of layouts and things that aren't Christmassy as well. So hop along and see what's going on. So there's my 3 photos added back on. We had a fun Christmassy day that day. We went to our town's Christmas parade, and we went to breakfast first, and my son had his ears on, and then they brought him a pancake that looked like a reindeer as well and was so cute. So I'm going to combine these American Craft Alphas, and the title is going to say Christmas Cousins or Xmas Cousins. And so I'm going to combine that. I'm just saying Xmas with those large ones, use only red. And then I'm going to use all the reds from the small alphas, which are from the Paige Evans collection, Sugar Plum Wishes. So use the pinks and reds out of that one. So that's going to go, I'm kind of showing you at the bottom where it's going to go, but I need a little something down there. It's a little stark. So I pull out another one of those papers that I already ripped off of, and I'm going to do a little bit of triangle down there in the bottom right with this lovely poinsettia paper. And so it mimics the red and pink at the top. It also reminds me of wrapping paper that my grandparents had like a ton of, and we literally got our gifts wrapped in that for years and years and years. And like just like 2 years ago, they finally ran out of it. I even saved a scrap of it for my scrapbook that year, but it's very similar to that. And I'm going to add a piece of the solid from the Fruitcake and Tinsel paper pad as well, and that just kind of mimics the green that is up at the top as well. So off screen you saw I just did another stitching with some twine. I had the peppermint kind of looking twine, and I did a zigzag stitch and just stitched over it so the whole length of the twine is just kind of attached to the paper. And I used that same turquoise thread to do that. So just trimming off anything hanging off of the 12 by 12 paper down there at the bottom. This comes together pretty quickly, honestly, besides the sewing. But I hadn't sewn on a layout in a really long time, and I feel like using ribbon and twine kind of lends itself to sewing and required it in my case. I mean, I could have used glue to stick down that trim, but honestly, it wouldn't have the same effect. And I love like just those little details that I feel like they add to it. So I'm happy with what it looks like. So I'm using that pink distress paper, my favorite from the Fruitcake and Tinsel collection, to back the 3 photos just to add a little color in the middle. And I'm going to go in and add splatter, and I don't recommend doing this like this. I recommend doing that before you add everything down. I'm kind of doing it backwards here today, but I was really careful. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but I was, adding color all these different ways onto the white background, and I still end up deciding that I need some splatter, right? So I used some of the cardstock, real thickers from Page, and then I also am using some of the foam stickers from Fruitcake and Tinsel by Fancy Pants. And so I love it. I love the 2 little deer, since Lockie had its ears on, and they put them on Wally over there. I'm just using my T-square ruler to line up the middle photo of Heath. And then I forgot to rough up the edges. So that's why I was trying to like pull it up to rough up the edges. So I do kind of do that since I already adhered that one down. And then I just go from that middle photo to use as a guide to keep everything else stuck down in kind of the right way. And then I'll just kind of layer the foam stickers and all the thickers around over the top of everything else. The ones from Page have really nice red foil on them as like their special element. And I am going to use extra adhesive for the thickers, the letter thickers, but the ones from Page are so sticky. And these also, the foam ones are so sticky. So I don't even feel the need to add extra adhesive. That candy cane is from the Paige Evans collection. So do you see how well they go together? Like, I think they just they work so well together. And a lot of the pieces from the Fruitcake and Tinsel collection are not particularly Christmassy, and I feel like they could work. Like all those pinks and reds flowers, I can't even talk. All the pink and red flowers are very non-Christmassy. You could definitely get away with using them on a non-Christmas layout. So here I go adding my splatter. I have my watered colors off way to the side so I can't spill my bottle. And I'm using the teeniest paintbrush and being just so careful because I'm not even trying to use a nozzle over here. I didn't want to get any of the splatter on my photos or any of the embellishments, but I just knew I needed something on the background, so I just had to do it. Definitely add that next time before I add everything to the background. Now I'm just using my favorite sequins from Picket Fate Studios. These are called Razzle Dazzle, but they always match. They always match. I don't even care what layout you're doing. There's always going to be a pretty little sequin in Razzle Dazzle that matches your layout. So I'm just sprinkling them around and we're going to call it a layout. I do go through and add their ages at the end. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hop along with other participants. I'll throw my affiliate link down below if you'd like to get yourself a little Christmas gift. See you guys later. Bye.